Hi, I was just thinking about my dad. Father's Day is coming soon, and maybe you're lucky enough to have a great example of a dad. Doesn't have to be a blood dad. It can be a foster dad. It can be a neighbor's dad. There's a wonderful book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that was written by Robert Kiyosaki, and it talks about how he was so greatly influenced regarding finances and how to handle money by his neighbor's dad. So today what I want to talk about is how you leave a legacy and just the little things that you do. Have you thought about that? And I want to share with you some dad lessons that I have learned over the years. I was in Walmart the other day, and I saw this little girl pick up some shoes, and she showed them to her mom, and her mom was really nasty. She said, "Put those back. We don't have any money for that." And she picked up another pair of shoes that was, less expensive, and the mom yelled, "I said, we don't have any money. Put that back. Put those back on the shelf." And my heart just sank, just for the fact, the attitude, the tone of voice she was using with that little girl. And I was thinking, when I was growing up, I guess we were in the middle class part, maybe lower middle class. My dad was a plumber, and no, not like the ones up north that have unions, but here in Florida. And I can remember going with him on the job and watching him dig ditches, and he would come home and he'd have burnt fingers, because back then they used solder instead of PVC and glue. But you know what? I never heard my father once say we couldn't afford something. If there was something that I wanted, and back then there were lots of things I wanted. I wanted a canopy bed. I wanted a London fog. I wanted all kinds of things. But my father would say, we don't choose to spend our money on that. Not that we didn't have money. We don't choose to spend our money on that. And that was so empowering, because the thought of having less was never in my mind. We had everything we possibly could need. And my father taught me that we pick and choose what we spend our money on. Another lesson that he taught me, and he also used this with my kids, so it's wonderful to talk with them and ask them about the lessons that they learned, is whenever we were at the gumball machine, my father would, and we needed a penny to put into the machine, he would never go in his pocket and get one little penny and hand it to us. He would reach in his blue jeans, and that would become a huge mound of change, just a huge mound. He always had change on him. It would jiggle when he walked. It made you feel like he was rich, because his pockets were always full of money. But he would reach in his pocket and he'd hold out his hand, and he allowed you to choose the penny. And you saw that penny on a mound of quarters and dimes and nickels, and you probably could have taken a quarter, a nickel, or a dime, but you had only asked for a penny. And he would watch as you would take that penny, thank him. He'd put that change away, and you'd go spend it. So it was another gift that he gave me about a feeling of abundance, by letting me know that there was always change in his pockets. You could hear it, and he was always willing to share the change that he had if you found a bubble gum machine that you just had to have a piece of gum. So those are just two little lessons. A third lesson I will tell you about is how he taught me to have confidence and not worry about people's stature, or the letters behind their names, or the university that they went to. And he used to tell me this all the time: men put on their pants, everybody puts on their pants, one leg at a time. So that created a level playing field, and that has helped me so much. Most of my clients, when I go and I talk to companies about making change and improving the relationship with their employees, getting their employees to be more productive, have their salespeople make more sales, is I'm talking generally with male CEOs. It's still them that make the decisions, those people who cut the checks. And I never was intimidated to go into or ask for the president of a company or a CEO of a company, because I knew they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like I did, and that they were looking for results. And as long as I came in and I talked about results, they were going to listen. That helped me the most sometimes people ask me, have you ever had an intimidating audience? I have had a couple. One was a prison, when I spoke at a prison, and I was speaking about goals, and I thought, geez, what can I say to these prisoners? And it ended up being glorious. I didn't get any whistling or any harassment in the audience. They were appreciative because we talked about it's not what happens to you, what you do, what you're going to do about it. And so what kind of goals had they set to get out of that environment? The same talk, believe it or not, was given to my grandfather's group, who most of the people in there were 80 and 90. And I thought, how can I talk to them about goals? They're 80, 90 years old, successful men. But the statistical fact is, if you wake up in the morning with purpose, you live 7 years longer than somebody who just wakes up, okay, with no purpose. And I remember with that specifically with my grandfathers. I had one grandfather that was a crane operator, and he died, probably within a year of retirement, because when he retired to a nice big fat easy chair in front of a TV. My other grandfather died in his late 90s because he was ahead of the Ohio State Horse Show. So he still had passion and things he wanted to do. So understanding that everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time will give you confidence to communicate with anyone. Thanks for listening.